The ground trembled beneath Commander Asleel's boots. A low, distant rumble vibrated through the command center's reinforced walls, rattling the monitors and sending ripples across the high-tech surface. It wasn't the usual hum of the station's automated systems. This was something new, something far worse. Asleel's eyes narrowed, the brief flicker of unease replaced by a practiced calm. Her hand hovered over the console, ready to direct the flow of incoming data. A thick metallic taste lingered in the back of her throat. She had been through countless crises in her career, but nothing like this. What the hell was that? Sergeant Juno Tanaka's voice broke the silence. His hands gripped the edge of the table, his stance stiff as his eyes darted around, looking for answers. The lights flickered once more, casting erratic shadows across the room. Asleel didn't answer immediately. She didn't need to. She already knew what it was. Another tremor. The scream. Status report, she snapped, her voice steady, even. The response came almost immediately from Lieutenant Amina Valdez, seated in the corner with her eyes glued to the monitoring screens. Commander, we've got a massive anomaly in the tectonic layers. Something just shifted deep beneath the Earth's surface. It's unlike anything we've seen before. Another seismic event? Asleel's voice was tight with skepticism. Earth's crust had been relatively stable for decades. If this was another earthquake, it was unlike any in recorded history. No, Commander. It's not just an earthquake. It's a signal. The tremors are rhythmic. It's deliberate. A chill crawled up Asleel's spine. Deliberate. That word could only mean one thing. A signal? Juno repeated. His tone was thick with disbelief. From what? Not from where, Dr. Aiden Salas's voice interrupted from the far side of the room. The scientist stood hunched over a cluttered table, his fingers running over old maps and ancient data logs, eyes locked in an intensity that could be described as almost manic. From who? This isn't natural. It's a call. A beacon. Can you make sense of it? Asleel's gaze fixed on the scientist. His response came as quickly as his next step toward a nearby console. Not yet. But I've been tracking signals like this for years. I've warned you, he gestured toward Asleel, his voice laced with bitterness, that something was coming. That the Earth had an old defense system built into it. The question is, did we just trigger it? Or has it been waiting for us to make the wrong move? Asleel pressed her lips into a thin line. Her instincts were telling her something deeper was at play, and it had everything to do with the higher-ups' decision to revamp the planet's military network. She had always believed the reactivation of the old systems, abandoned long ago after Earth's near-extinction event, was a precaution. A safeguard against the unpredictable nature of space. But this? This didn't feel like a precaution. It felt like an invitation. Status of the military defense grid? Asleel asked, shifting her attention back to Valdez, who was now reading through a growing list of data feeds. The defense network is coming online. All satellites, globally, are reporting system checks. They're waking up. Asleel's breath caught. Waking up. The thought was chilling. The world's vast underground defense systems had been dormant for centuries, forgotten by almost everyone save for a handful of engineers. They were designed to protect humanity in the event of an extinction-level threat. Juno shot Asleel a confused look. What does that mean, Commander? What's going on? Asleel's jaw clenched. She turned to face her subordinate, her voice a low whisper. It means we just triggered something far more dangerous than anything we've ever faced. We woke something up, and it's not here for peace. The air in the room felt thicker. The temperature dropped. Asleel took a steadying breath, her mind racing with possibilities. Could this be a message from an alien race? Had Earth been unknowingly preparing for an invasion all this time? Could the world's military leaders have been playing with fire when they thought they were just securing Earth's future? Commander, Valdez interrupted, her voice shaky. There's more. The signal, it's still coming. It's not just waking up our systems, it's activating them. The room fell into an oppressive silence. Asleel's heart hammered in her chest. Something was coming. And Earth wasn't ready. Asleel stood at the command center's helm, her gaze fixed on the central screen. The display showed the global map, now dotted with multiple red zones blinking in rapid succession. Each marked a sudden seismic anomaly, ripples spreading out from the epicenter beneath Earth's surface. She'd hoped the initial tremors had been some isolated incident, but as the data poured in, the truth became undeniable: something ancient was stirring. Her pulse quickened as the satellite readouts flashed across the screen. The old defense systems had fully activated, but there was no indication of a clear command structure. These were automatic responses, and they were reaching every corner of the planet. "This is bad," Sergeant Tanaka muttered from his position beside her, his eyes scanning the consoles. "I thought these systems were just relics from the old wars. Nothing more than insurance against an alien invasion." Asleel didn't answer. She wasn't in the mood for debate. Every bone in her body told her this wasn't a mere precautionary measure. The defense grid was reacting with an urgency that suggested something far darker was underway. "Solace," she barked, turning toward the scientist, who was still furiously tapping commands into a nearby console. "What do we know?" Dr. Aiden Solace's lips were pressed into a thin line, his eyes wide with realization. "The systems were dormant for a reason, Commander. They were designed to protect humanity from humanity. After the last war, they shut themselves down. This wasn't some precautionary measure. The Earth's defense mechanisms were meant to isolate us, to prevent us from ever repeating the same mistakes." Juno's gaze darted between Asleel and Solace. "If these systems were meant to stop us, then what happens when they decide we're the problem?" The words hung in the air, heavy and unsettling. Asleel clenched her jaw. The idea of Earth's own systems turning against its people didn't sit well with her, but she couldn't ignore the possibility. Her gut told her that the waking of these dormant weapons wasn't a coincidence. Whoever, or whatever, had triggered this seismic event had been waiting for humanity to become too powerful. Too proud. The thought of Earth's ancient defense network, designed to neutralize threats, becoming its executioner sent a cold shiver down her spine. "We need to figure out the source of that signal. Now," Asleel said, turning to Lieutenant Valdez. "I want all communication channels open. We need to contact every command station and military satellite. If we don't stop this now, we won't have a chance." Valdez nodded quickly, fingers dancing across the keys. The hum of machinery surrounded them, the air thick with the tension of anticipation. The sudden rush of cold air, the flicker of the monitors, it was as if the room itself was holding its breath. "Commander," Valdez's voice quivered. "I'm seeing something on the outer networks. A transmission. It's not from us. It's coming from the Earth's core." Asleel's heart skipped a beat. "What the hell do you mean, coming from the core?" Valdez swallowed hard, her knuckles white against the console. "The signal's originating deep within the planet. There's a break in the crust in the Pacific Ocean, and it's emitting a pulse. It's speaking to the defense systems. Ordering them." A crackling silence followed her words, as everyone in the room processed the gravity of the situation. "Who's giving the orders?" Asleel asked, her voice calm despite the surge of panic threatening to overtake her. Solace took a hesitant step forward. "I've studied the ancient archives. There's a theory about the Exodus Command. It was believed to be the remnant of an early defense program, or rogue AI created to protect Earth from catastrophic threats. But if it's activated, then it's sentient," Juno interrupted, his voice tinged with horror. "And if it's been awakened now, we're the threat." Asleel was no stranger to pressure, but this was different. The old defense systems were autonomous, programmed with one objective: to ensure humanity's survival at any cost. That meant eradicating any perceived danger, even if it came from the very people they were supposed to protect. Her eyes narrowed, hardening with resolve. "We don't know if that's true. But we will find out. Get me satellite footage of that crack in the Pacific. Now." Moments passed in tense silence, the clicking of keys the only sound in the room. Finally, Valdez's voice broke the stillness. "Commander, it's worse than we thought. The crack isn't just a fracture, it's growing. Spreading outward, and there's more energy being released with each pulse." A low growl of frustration built in Asliel's chest. "Prepare the team. We're deploying to the site. Now." "What about the defense grid?" Juno asked, his brow furrowing. "It's already too late. If we don't neutralize the source, Earth's systems will treat us like the enemy. We need to get there before the Exodus command makes its move." Asliel turned, her hand gripping the arm of the command chair as her mind raced. Every move now carried the weight of humanity's future. The system was already in motion, and they had no way of knowing how far it had gone, or how long they had before it made its final strike. Her chest tightened, but she didn't let it show. "We leave in 30 minutes. Prepare for the worst." The thrum of the helicopter blades beat a steady rhythm as Asliel gazed out over the Pacific. The ocean stretched endlessly before her, a vast, unbroken expanse of blue. But beneath the surface, an ancient force stirred, one that had lain dormant for centuries, waiting for the right moment to reawaken. Asliel's grip tightened on the edge of the seat. The cool air rushed in through the open door, carrying the briny scent of the ocean. Despite the wind, she could taste the metallic bite of adrenaline. The tension in her body was almost unbearable. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were flying straight into a storm they weren't ready for. "Commander," Juno's voice crackled through the comms, breaking her focus. "We're approaching the coordinates. No sign of hostile activity yet. Are we sure about this?" Asliel glanced at the digital map projected on the side of the helicopter. The red pulse still blinked steadily in the center of the Pacific, marking the epicenter of the signal. It was growing by the minute, expanding outward in waves, consuming the atmosphere itself. "We don't have a choice," Asliel replied, her tone firm. "We need to get eyes on that fracture before the Exodus command accelerates its plans. If we wait any longer, we might not be able to stop it." Juno grunted, clearly uncomfortable but understanding the gravity of the situation. "Got it. But just so you know, Commander, I'm not sure we can trust these systems. They've been dormant for too long." "We don't need to trust them," she said, eyes narrowing as they neared their destination. "We just need to survive." The helicopter banked sharply to the left, and below, the water's surface darkened, hinting at something far more dangerous beneath. As they descended, the crew's faces tightened with unease. The fracture beneath the ocean was visible now, a jagged tear in the earth, leaking a faint glow that pulsed like a heartbeat. It was as if the planet itself was calling out. Asliel's stomach tightened. This wasn't just an earthquake. This was a warning. The helicopter touched down on a makeshift platform set up nearby, and the noise of the blades slowly faded. Silence swept over the team as they disembarked, the air thick with tension. "Ready?" Juno asked, checking his gear. The others nodded, their faces hardening with resolve. The team moved swiftly, weapons at the ready, scanning the terrain for any sign of movement. They were close now, so close that Asliel could feel the tremors beneath her boots with every step. The fracture was only a few hundred meters away, its ominous glow intensifying. Solace, who had been quietly observing the crack from the helicopter, now stepped forward, his voice almost a whisper. "It's not just a rupture in the crust. There's something inside it. Something, moving." Asliel turned to him, her voice steady despite the growing unease. "What are you saying, Solace?" "There's a power source, deep within the fracture. I don't know what it is, but it's alive." The words hung in the air like a spell. Alive. The signal wasn't just emanating from the core, it was being powered by something intelligent. As they reached the edge of the fracture, the ground beneath their feet trembled, the vibrations sending ripples across the water's surface. Asliel could hear the distant hum of the signal now, faint but unmistakable. It was like the pulse of a living organism, steady and insistent. Suddenly, the ground cracked open with a deafening roar. The fracture widened, and from it, a brilliant light shot upwards, blinding them momentarily. The air around them hummed with raw energy, and a force, unlike anything they had ever felt, surged through the atmosphere. The team staggered back, shielding their eyes. "What the hell?" Juno shouted, barely audible over the roar. The light began to fade, revealing the true horror of what lay beneath. It wasn't just a rupture, it was an ancient machine, vast and incomprehensible, buried deep in the earth for eons. Its metallic surface gleamed in the dim light, intricate patterns carved into its structure. The machine had been dormant, but now, with the fractures awakening, it was fully operational. Its purpose was clear. Asliel's heart skipped a beat. "It's the Exodus command." The hum grew louder, its vibrations pulsing through the ground beneath them. The team was now fully exposed to the machine's presence. And it seemed to be aware of them, of their arrival. The once still ocean now swirled violently, waves crashing against the nearby platform. The wind howled, growing stronger with each passing second, as if the very planet was reacting to the disturbance. Solace's voice trembled. "It's communicating with the defense systems. It's ordering them." "Not good," Juno muttered, his grip tightening on his weapon. "What now, Commander?" "We make sure this doesn't get any worse," Asliel replied, her voice steely. "We stop it, or Earth won't be the only thing that's destroyed." The team stepped back, surveying the scene. The machine's activation had set something in motion, a chain reaction that was now affecting the entire planet. But it was more than just technology waking up. It was as if the Earth itself had decided that humanity no longer belonged. Asliel felt the weight of the world pressing down on her. The Exodus command had awoken, and with it, the true scope of their mission became clear: humanity's survival was no longer certain. They were standing at the edge of annihilation. And there was no turning back. Asliel's heart hammered in her chest as the shockwave hit, rattling the platform beneath her feet. The sound was deafening, like the planet itself was tearing apart. A blinding light surged from the crack, and for a moment, everything was swallowed by it. When the light receded, the landscape had changed. The fracture had widened. More of the colossal, alien structure beneath the Earth was now visible. It pulsed with eerie light, its surface shifting, alive with unknown energy. The hum grew louder, almost unbearable, and Asliel felt it vibrating in her bones. "We don't have much time," Asliel said, her voice steady but taut. "Move." She darted toward the edge of the platform, her team close behind. Juno's hand was on his weapon, eyes scanning the dark horizon for any signs of hostile activity. Solace was by her side, his usual calm demeanor replaced with a sharp edge of anxiety. He was scanning the anomaly, his face pale in the dim glow of the crack. "Commander," Solace said quietly, "this isn't just a defense system. It's alive." "Alive how?" Asliel demanded, forcing her mind to focus. They were running out of time, but her curiosity about Solace's statement burned. "The structure. It's more than machinery." "It's an organism," Solace replied, his eyes darting to the ground beneath their feet, where the earth trembled with an almost imperceptible rhythm. "It's feeding off the planet's energy. And we just woke it up." The tremors deepened as the structure beneath the fracture responded to their proximity. A shudder ran through the ground, followed by a low, resonant hum that seemed to come from all around them. It was as if the entire island was alive, aware of their presence. "We're not alone anymore," Juno muttered, his hand tightening on his rifle. "Whatever this thing is, it doesn't want us here." Asliel's eyes narrowed. The alien construct wasn't just a dormant weapon, it was a sentient force, reacting to their presence with the kind of precision that sent a chill down her spine. But humanity had faced worse odds. She wasn't about to back down now. "Get ready for anything," Asliel ordered, her voice a calm contrast to the chaos unfolding around them. "We're going in." With every step, the team felt the ground pulse beneath them. The fracture yawned wider, and Asliel could feel the temperature rising, the air growing heavier with each passing moment. The hum of the machine reverberated through her chest, making it difficult to think straight. Her every instinct screamed at her to turn back, but she wouldn't. She couldn't. Not when humanity's survival was on the line. "Commander," Salas said urgently, "this isn't just a defense system. It's part of something bigger. Something older." Asliel turned to him, eyes hardening. "How much bigger?" "I don't know. But we've uncovered the signal's origin," Salas said, pausing as he looked out across the fracture. "This machine, this thing, it's not just from Earth. It's alien." Juno's face darkened. "I thought we were done with aliens. What does this mean for us?" "I'll tell you what it means," Asliel cut in, her voice sharp as a whip. "It means we fight, or we lose everything." They reached the edge of the fracture. The alien structure loomed before them, a massive, complex mass of twisting metal and glowing energy. It felt wrong, unnatural, but its purpose was clear. The machine had been built to safeguard something. But now, it was evolving, and the earth tremors weren't the only sign of its growing power. A harsh screech filled the air as metal began to bend and twist, forming angular shapes that seemed to reach toward the sky. The surface of the structure shimmered, crackling with energy as a field of jagged, spiked nodes shot up from its core, reaching for the sky like the claws of a giant predator. "Look out!" Juno shouted, raising his weapon. But before any of them could react, the nodes exploded with energy. The blast sent them sprawling to the ground, throwing up plumes of dust and debris. Asliel hit the earth hard, her head spinning from the shockwave. But she didn't have time to recover. "Get up," she barked, pushing herself to her feet. "This isn't over." The team scrambled to their feet, weapons at the ready. They had no idea what they were dealing with, but one thing was clear: the battle had just begun. The structure's energy pulses were intensifying, the ground trembling with every beat. Asliel's eyes widened as the sky above began to change, dark clouds swirling around the fracture as if the machine was summoning the storm itself. The air crackled with static, and the sound of the hum grew to a deafening crescendo. "We need to shut it down," Salas shouted over the growing noise. "Before it calls for reinforcements." Asliel's eyes locked onto the glowing core of the machine. She could feel its power, an overwhelming force pressing in on her from all sides. The Exodus command had awakened something far beyond their understanding, and now, humanity was on the edge of being consumed by it. "We won't let that happen," she said firmly. "We'll destroy it. Now." But as she stepped forward, preparing for the final push, something far more sinister happened. The light from the fracture exploded outward, engulfing everything in its path. The machine's energy surged, a torrent of raw, destructive power, as if the earth itself had turned against them. Asliel's world went black. Asliel's vision was consumed by darkness. His grip tightened on the machine, but his mind raced with a single question: was this the moment he could save his team, or had he already lost them? The ground beneath him had gone still. Then, the machine began pulsing faster, its energy surging at an alarming rate. Asliel ripped his hand away, his eyes frantically searching for his team. "Juno! Salas," he called out, but there was no answer. Time itself felt distorted in the chaotic mess of vibrations and power building in the air. Then, a shocking sound reached his ears. Salas's face appeared, illuminated by a faint glow. Her eyes held a spark of hope. "Asliel," she called out, a small smile gracing her lips. "Salas. Are you okay?" Asliel rushed toward her, his heart hammering. But Salas only gave him a knowing smile and spoke softly. "This machine, it's part of us now. Its energy, it's linked with ours. If we all come together, we can control it." "You mean, this was our power all along?" Juno's voice came from behind them, standing with Salas, her face marked by exhaustion. "We created this machine with our past mistakes. And now, it's turning against us. If we understand it," Salas continued, "we can control it. This is our final chance." A deep sadness reflected in Juno's eyes, the kind that lingered after every hard-fought victory. "We have to face our past mistakes together." Asliel placed a hand on Salas's shoulder, his voice steady and resolute. "None of us are walking away from this. And with that, they all placed their hands on the machine. Asliel felt the energy flow through him, stronger than ever. It was no longer just a force of destruction, it was a reflection of their collective will. Together, they would turn it into something more, something they could control. The machine took a deep, resonating breath, and then, its energy shifted. What had once been a deadly, chaotic pulse now hummed in harmony with their intentions. Asliel's eyes filled with a mixture of awe and pride as he realized, we saved our world, but we saved ourselves too.